These are all the ingredients you're going to need for today's recipe. I would suggest you go ahead and get the butter out a good half an hour before you start this recipe so it gets nice and soft. So today we are going to make muffins. I already have my ingredients out. Everything is set out right here off to the side and ready to go. It says it's going to make 12 muffins, so hopefully you're ready for some muffins today. The first thing it tells you to do is go ahead and preheat your oven. As always, get that started right away. Mine's preheating behind me, so that's good. You're gonna butter your muffin pan, which I got my muffin pan out and I have already buttered that, so that's ready to go. You're gonna mix the flour, baking powder, salt, sugar in a large bowl. So what I've already done is I've already measured out the flour. So the next is the baking powder. So we need 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Okay. So remember, we want to make sure we're getting the baking powder, not the baking soda. So we're going to do 1 tablespoon. So anytime there's a B in there, it means it's the bigger one. So this is the tablespoon. And how we measure that, remember, we just take that big heaping spoonful, I don't know if you can see that, and then the way this tin is set up, there's that flat edge right there. We just scrape it along that flat edge, and it just makes that perfect little spoonful. We plop that right on in there. And then the next is a ½ teaspoon of salt. So I have my salt here. I just do a little ½ teaspoon of salt, and I go ahead and I sprinkle that in there. Next is 2 tablespoons of sugar. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and measure out 2 tablespoons of sugar. Perfect. Okay. Let's see, so mix all that together. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and mix all of our dry ingredients together. I like to use a whisk. Makes things easy. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. Next, we're going to add the egg, milk, and butter. Stir only enough to dampen the flour. Okay, so the egg, they just want it slightly beaten. So I wanted to show you kind of how to do that. So I have my little bowl here, I got my egg right here. So we're going to crack that into the little bowl. Okay. Then I'm going to take a fork and I'm just going to slightly beat that. So nothing, there we go. So just a little bit, just like that, okay? Okay, so add the egg. So I'm going to go ahead and add that egg. You're going to add the milk. So it does ask for 1 cup of milk, which I have already measured out. So I'm going to go ahead and dump that in here. And the butter. So the way I asked for the butter, so it wants 1 cup of butter and then also 1/4 cup of melted butter. Okay, so I got my butter here. I'm going to go ahead and plop that in there. And then it asked for a 1/4 cup of melted butter, so I'm also going to put that in there. All right. And again, stirring enough to just dampen that flour. The batter should not be totally smooth. So we're just going to stir that together. All right, I'm realizing I did not let my butter get soft for long enough. Okay, I got my muffin mix ready to go. I didn't let my butter get soft enough, so I let it sit for a little while and then I stirred it up after my butter got a little bit softer, so it's good to go now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and fill our little cups. And what did it say? Fill our little cups 2/3 full. Okay, so I use an ice cream scoop. It's easy for me. What I do also is I sprayed it with a little bit of cooking spray so it's not super sticky. So we're just gonna scoop out some muffin mix and we're gonna put it in to our muffin pan. Just like that. If you noticed at the bottom of this recipe, there's different ways to make these muffins your own. So there's options for blueberry muffins, pecan muffins, whole wheat muffins, date or raisin muffins. There's also bacon muffins. So if you want to go for it, go for it. One thing that my family really likes is dried cranberries. So we're gonna add some dried cranberries to these muffins. My dad really likes walnuts. I don't like walnuts at all, but I'm gonna add a couple walnuts to a couple of them just for him. So yes, it's fun to make this recipe your own. And then after you fill that up, you're gonna put that in the oven for, what did it say, 20 to 25 minutes. Anytime it says, like 20 to 25 minutes or 30 to 35 minutes, I always set my timer for the least amount, and then I'm checking on it. So I'm gonna put my muffins in, set the timer for 20 minutes, and then I'm gonna check on them and see if they're done. If they're not done, they can always stay in a little bit longer. I just really don't want to be eating burnt muffins. All right, so mine are full. I think I'm gonna add some walnuts and some cranberries to mine and put them in the oven. Here's my final product. I added dried cranberries and walnuts. I actually sprinkled a little bit of cinnamon and sugar on top too. Turned out really yummy.